Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakahakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth, peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be sent around this article that you see on the screen by Reuters.com, and it's entitled Russia Promises Retaliation Against U.S. for Ukraine Strike on Crimea, right? And if you don't know, now you know. The United States, Babylon, is directly responsible for one of the, not necessarily the most recent attacks, but a recent attack on Russia, right? So this is, if you want to be technical, the U.S. directly attacking Russia, right? In reality, this is an act of war, but, you know, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, the Lord isn't allowing this to turn into or be called or labeled, you know, a conflict between these two world major powers yet, right? It will happen, but it ain't happened yet. And if you was to look throughout history, if this were any other time, this would have, you know, we would be saying that this was, you know, World War III, right? If you looked at, you know, times before, it never has it been so never has it ever been so many different attacks and conflicts, right, and different engagements between two nations, and it not be called a war like this on this level, right? Which shows you that Yahweh Shema Shai isn't, you know, he isn't allowing this to be to accumulate into what it will, because there is prophecies that must be fulfilled before, you know, this thing is allowed to really go live, right? But you know, I'm gonna get into the article. Russia says U.S. is to blame for attack on Crimea. Ukraine struck Crimea with U.S. attackers. Russia says Russia summons U.S. ambassador in Moscow, right? And when you look into those ATACMS missiles, right, they can only be controlled by U.S. Soldiers, right? By United States commands, right? The Ukrainian military don't have access or the ability to access these advanced missile systems, right? So this was, you know, technically a direct attack on Russia by America. The Kremlin on Monday squarely blamed the United States for an attack on Crimea, with U.S. supplied attacking missiles that killed at least 4 people and injured 151. And Moscow formally warned the U.S. ambassador that retaliation will follow, which is war. But they're not going to call it that, right? Because it's not going to progress and advance until you know, the mark has to be initiated first. And then that's when things are really going to intensify on the global stage between these major powers, man. The war in Ukraine has deepened a crisis in relations between Russia and the West, and Russian officials have said the conflict is entering the most dangerous escalation to date, but directly blaming the United States for an attack on Crimea, which Russia unilaterally annexed in 2014, although most of the world considers it a part of Ukraine, is a step further, right? So this was an attack on Russia, and you know, when you look into the attack, it was an attack on a beach, right, where people were, you know, simply out with their families and just enjoying life, right? And lo and behold, missiles are now raining down, you know, upon you, right? Very terrible situation to experience, you know, when you really think about it. You should ask my colleagues in Europe and above all in Washington, the press secretaries, why the governments are killing Russian children. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters, right? Because like I said, this was a civilian beach that was targeted. So, you know, it wasn't a military installation, right? So this is provocation, ultimately. All right. And Russia promised a retaliate. This happened June 24th, right? It's what, July something. Okay. And we still ain't seen that retaliation. So best believe it's coming. In what forms, you know, we shall see. It could be anything, a cyber attack, right? It could be a direct strike on U.S. military installations. You know, it could be a number of different things that they could do to retaliate against America for what just happened, you know. So we'll see. But one thing for sure is that this type of rhetoric does not end in kumbaya, man. We shall overcome and let's all come together. Nah, man, this type of thing. Yeah, at this point, all out war between the U.S. and Russia is inevitable. And really it's happening right before our eyes. It's not being called at, right? It's just not being called at. This is Revelations 11 and 14. The second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly, because ultimately that's what this is going to accumulate to, right? That great war, the greatest war that the world has ever seen, which is World War III, okay? Because it's going to be a war that's never been perceived, man. The level of destruction that it's going to bring is going to be unimaginable, right? Biblical, literally. Okay, the scriptures call this the second death, especially what's going to happen here in America. America is going to turn into a lake of fire. Okay, and Russia is going to spearhead the whole thing. All right. So ultimately, we're watching prophecy unravel. All right. So you could think shit is a game, think shit sweet. But at the end of the day, the world is progressively moving in the spirit of prophecy. Right. And it's moving fast. Right. Faster than a lot of people really even consider, really. All right. They don't really, you know, people's attention span is so short, and people don't even really know or understand what's going on. But, you know, the elect shall obtain it, and the West were blinded, man. That's why the scripture says it's going to come upon you people like a thief in the night. Right? Because you can't see it, you're blind. Okay? The Lord ain't give you the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to see what's going on. This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And that's what we're seeing. The preparations for war. All right. You don't think these nations, they understand what time it is, man? Okay. It's just that people have so many different distractions going on right now. What you got, Copa America, right? You got the European, the Euro Cup, right? These different events taking place in the world. Bronny just got drafted to the Lakers, and all this other bullshit that's keeping people distracted. The Olympics, qualifying fires are happening, right? You got Kendrick, not like not like us, video dropping, right? So people, these different events are going right over their head, especially Jake, right? But these things are happening, and it's all building up to something. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. See? So, and that's what we see, because Russia was once, a powerful, mighty nation, and then guess what? It fell, right? The USSR, it failed. The different Soviet, the Soviet Union, disbanded. Okay, but Russia since then has returned to the old glory in which it once had. It's been rejuvenated all through what? The spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Why? Because the Lord, he spoke it, right? He chose Gog and Magog to spearhead this great great confederacy that's coming up against America. This is Ezekiel 38 and 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. See? When you go into this, right, you read in verse 3, it talks about Gog and Magog and chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. That's referring to Russia, modern day Russia, right? That landmass, which Russia now, sits on. Okay. So the Lord said he's going to turn them back into what they were once, the superpower that they once were. Okay. A great, mighty, feared nation. Right. And the Lord is doing that right in front of our eyes. Okay. That's what this whole war in Ukraine is about. Russia returning back to its strength. Right. So you could pretty much expect things to escalate, because as the scriptures just read, hey, let the weak say I'm strong, right? Russia was once thought to be, weak, especially in recent history. When you look in the past, since the Soviet Union fell, right? Russia lost a lot of respect around the world globally, because it lost so much, but the Lord has turned back time, so to speak. Okay. And Russia has become a formidable foe. And when, especially when allied with these different nations, okay, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And guess what? Russia declared that they would fund and back anybody who's against America. They're going to give their full support to. right? How could this not end in bloodshed? Gomer and all his bands, the House of Togomar of the North Quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. See? Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's exactly what's happening, right? They're falling into that role in which they were prophesied to play. Okay? And it's all going to lead up to what? World War III, right? This is Ezekiel 38 and 10. Thus saith Yahweh Shemel Shai, it shall come to pass at that same time, shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think of evil thought. What's an evil thought? Let's nuke America, right? Fuck this bitch. Let's take her out. We got the means to do so, especially, all of us combined. Let's take her out, man. Because she's bringing nothing but hell and chaos and instability in this world, right? So the Lord's gonna put it on their spirit to fire missiles at this place. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely. All of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. And America's defense system is shabby at best, right? Last time they did some tests, they couldn't even intercept the missile. How much more a hypersonic missile, right? With the ability to maneuver past radar, to go undetected, right? How much more? So this place pretty much is vulnerable, okay? It has no defense. To take a spoil and a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, right? America's inhabited right now. But after, guess what? After these evil thoughts are thought and these actions come to pass, it won't be. And it won't be ever again. And upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. See? All this place is going to be turned to fire, man. And it shall burn for a long time, right? And it's going to be a memorial. And people are going to think about America as the great Satan, right? That once was and now never shall be again, right? Because America is the place of judgment, man. And it's long overdue, man. All the wickedness in which this place is reaped, right? Well, you're going to sow the same. You're going to sow a judgment that's never been seen on earth. This is Isaiah 13 and 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh Shemel Shah of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh Shemel Shah, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Russia has the most ICBMs in the world on paper, right? That's not even including the nations that are unified and going to unite with Russia, because the scriptures say that America's own allies, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. So America's own allies are going to turn. The beast shall hate the whore. They're going to turn on you, man. And they're all going to fire off those intercontinental ballistic missiles upon you, upon America, upon Babylon the Great. And this place will be obliterated from sea to shining sea. Okay? But these are the beginning stages of it. Right? This is a undeclared war. Right? But pretty soon it's going to be laid out and proclaimed to be exactly what it is. Okay. The last great war, man. And with that, I give all praise and the glory to Yahweh Shem, Shah, Shem, Rakakwadash, Wa, Abba, Babal, and DTN.